Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pentiment. So, we are here in Act 3. Ooh. Meeting at the Rat House. So it says Dad was looking for me. Grab the mural plans from the workshop at the house and head to the Rat House. The Rat House mural sketches. I think this is what my dad wants. I think these are all the plans. What is this part of the plans? Stop. Huh. What an odd color. We don't have an ink like this here. At least, I don't think we do. Well, whatever. I'll bring it just in case. Alright, I better get these over to the Rat House. Hey again, Mags. Are you serious? I just told you not to call me that. And what are you all doing out here? Don't you have better things to do? What business is that of yours? Not me. All my work's done, Mags. Craft with 2 Fs. What do you care? It's not like you've got important work to do. Ooh. I'll go with Tinker. Keep the press running for my dad, and I work with Baltus on his invention. Huh. New guy. At least I don't recognize him. That seems a little more important than standing around the commons in the middle of the day. Baltus's inventions are stupid. Doesn't seem like something a girl should be involved with, if you ask me. Right. No one did. Calm down, Mags. You're going to get a reputation. Too late to worry about that. She already has a reputation. Barbs. Magdalene is skilled at stinging, countering, and otherwise deflating people in conversation. At least I have a reputation. If you died today, your epitaphs would read, 3 shitheads who spend every morning harassing girls in the commons. Assuming you got a grave, that is. More likely, they toss your worthless bodies in a compost heap and hope for a better return. Jesus Christ. Alright, we got it. Lay off. Did you get those things your dad wanted? Yes, that's why I was on my way to the Rat House. Hopefully I can drop these off and start my reading for the day. Reading? What book is so important that you need to get back to it? Ooh. Polyglot. Polyglot. Don Floricel de Niqua. Don what? Floricel like flower. It's a knightly romance written in Castilian. Such a beautiful language. Who speaks that? People from Castile. Never heard of it. Right. Sounds made up. Don't you read all sorts of books about trees and birds and whatever? Yes, trees and birds and whatever. That's right. People are finally writing down what they see in nature instead of copying something a Greek imagined centuries ago. Do you have any books on frogs? What? Never mind. Wait, Oates, aren't you supposed to be at the Red House too? You're on the council. Sure, but it's pointless without your dad's plans. Let's go. Fine. Don't understand how we're still arguing about this. Oh, Big Yorg's lost an eye. These murals should depict the truth. What we know is the truth. I don't think it's so simple, Klaus. Are you afraid of angering our Lord, Father Thomas? I think Father Thomas means that the truth is not so easily agreed upon. I don't know. I'm tired of arguing. I just want it to look nice and show what happened. Magdalene, thank you for bringing these. Maybe illustrations will succeed, or talking has failed. I'm done arguing with them. I'll see you at home for supper. All right, Magdalene. We don't need to see the drawings. Not that we don't understand what he's trying to do. I didn't realize we had upset him so much. Sounds like things got worse after I left. Well, we've been arguing about this for almost 2 hours. Oh, hey, it's Paul. For all the good it did us. He hasn't budged. What's the point of talking if you can't make any progress? Magdalene, could you speak to your father? Help him see things from our point of view. So in the end, I ran to get plans that you don't want to see, and now you want me to do something else for you? I'm sorry, Magdalene. This all became a lot more contentious than we hoped. Klaus has strong, very strong opinions on how the history of Tassing of Kirsau Abbey should be portrayed. And those portrayals may upset some of our neighbors. Isn't the real concern that it's going to upset the Lord? Isn't everyone really worried about him coming here? Coming here someday and seeing the revolt memorialized on the wall? Keeps saying that we all disagree with him. I don't think I do. Not entirely. Well, what do you think you are? I know I'm not the smartest man in this room, but I know what happened to my own dad. I know what he did. Doesn't feel right to ignore what happened to him, what happened to Otto. Look, you all knew my dad. I never had the chance. I don't want to make the people in this town angry. I don't want to make our Lord angry. None of us do, but maybe there's a way to tell this story in a way that's true without upsetting anyone. So, it's all very complicated, you see, Magdalene. Try to get him to consider a portrayal of our history that's a little less inflammatory. And to think the council's meant to be the best of Tassing. Magdalene! Such speech is entirely uncalled for. Need to come to an agreement or call off the mural entirely. Been wanting to paint this mural for years. You can't tell him no all of a sudden. And help us, Magdalene. Your father will listen to you. Fine, but only so we can paint it, not on account of your bickering like children. Now, I'm going back home. This mess has taken up too much of my day already. Magdalene? Thank you for bringing the drawings to the rat house. I'm sorry it was a waste of time. Those men don't know what they want. When I tell them what I'm trying to do, they get scared. Then they talk and talk and talk. They talk all day, and we're never any closer to a decision. I'm sick of it. Sick of the whole thing. You just start working on it. If they don't like it, they'll have to figure it out for themselves. Good, but the first payment requires the council's approval. Damn it, I don't even care about the money. Maybe you're right. To hell with them. I didn't realize you were so upset about it. Hear all of these stories about what this place was, how it came to be. And it feels like history is something that happened before, happened to other people. But 18 years ago, we lived through something, you and I, everyone in Tassing. Everyone wants to forget about it, pretend it didn't happen. You don't. No, I don't. All those years ago, I did nothing. I was worried for you, worried for Benjamin and Rachel and Esther. I was so afraid that I'd lose you, wouldn't have been able to bear it. In the end, so many people died anyway. Peter and Ulrich and Andreas and all of the others. Hmm. Hold on a sec. Can't be. God damn it. My cue. Yeah, I'm getting a... There's a really low vibration here. Can't be my computer. No, it's not. It's gotta be... I think it's music. Someone's playing some really bassy music. We lived. Dad, everyone says that it wouldn't have made any difference. If you and the others had fought, you would have died. I would have died. Maybe I could have stopped him from going to the mill. Maybe we could have stopped the peasants from burning it down. But we'll never know. You can't change the past, Dad. I know, the least I can do is make sure it's not forgotten. Something happened here. We were part of it. I need to help people remember that. If I don't do it, who will? You're right, Dad. Wish the men in that rat house saw me the way you do. They'll come around. Hope so. All the arguing has left me beat. I'm going to bed early. Alright, I'm going to stay up for a bit, write a letter to Esther. Good. Please say hello to her from me. And her parents. I know, Dad. Good night, Magdalene. Love you. I love you too. All this running around has left me tired too. It will be nice to sit down at my desk and just write for a while. Alright, where to begin? I should write to Esther. Dearest Esther. I hope you've been well. Autumn has reached us here in Tassing at last. I've spent the last few days collecting oat galls with Sister Gertrude. I don't suppose you have the chance to do that in Prague. Sister Gertrude has been teaching me how to grind them into smooth ink. Difficult work, but you'll find no better ink anywhere in Bavaria. I'll send along a bottle with this letter. Oh, did I mention? Dad started a new project. He's painting a mural of Tassing's history in our new rat house to memorialize the revolt. The whole thing has me thinking about my own family history, past, present, and future. I don't think I want to stay in Tassing forever. It's a quaint place to grow up, but I'm 20 now. Dad says I should take over the shop, but I want to do more with my life. Not just take over a print shop at some tiny town in the Alps. If I married a master printer, then I could become part of the Printers Guild. And I'd be able to send Dad my extra earnings and make a name for myself in one of the cities. And yes, before you break the nib off your pen, I will come visit you in Prague. Promise. I'll try to make time to visit before winter. Life has been bustling here. Dad's been busy with the rat house mural, so I've taken over in the workshop. I'm sure it will be a sight to behold once it's finished. Write back to me soon. All my love. Magda. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Go to sleep. Ah! Dad? Dad? Lynn. Dad! Hang on, I'm coming. Dad! Lynn. What happened? Are you alright? You're bleeding. Someone came into the house. They hit me over the head. I'll go get Dr. Stolt. Try not to move, Dad. Magdalene, it's not safe. Whoever attacked me. This wound is too deep for me to take care of on my own. We need Dr. Stoll's. Magdalene, careful. I will. I'll be right back, I promise. You know why anyone would want to attack you, Klaus? No. Maybe someone didn't like one of the books I sold them. Are you sure you didn't see a shadow and hit your head on the printing press? Come on, Jorg. You saw the workshop. Somebody was looking for something. Burglar? In Tassing? That's preposterous. Well, if it wasn't an attack, what was it? Enough. It was a deliberate blow to the head. Unless any of you wish to debate my diagnosis. No, of course not. As I thought. Truthfully, Klaus, I'm surprised the blow didn't kill you. You have a strong skull. Grave injury. Magdalene, you'll need to help take care of your father. I will, whatever I need to do. Good. Of course, the mural will have to be called off now. Klaus, you absolutely cannot get out of bed. Yeah, I figured that's what this was all about. No, it has to be done. Too important. Give me some time to rest. I'll find a way to make it work. I don't think we need to cancel the entire project. Can't we just wait? Klaus, your health comes first. Anyway, we haven't even been able to agree on what the mural should be. Indeed, it might be best to abandon the entire idea. With respect, Father Thomas, you are not on this council. Yes, just offering an opinion. I can paint the mural. What? Mags, quit joking around. Well, I know you want to help your dad, but aren't you too young for something this big? I've been painting since before I could walk. You don't think I'm good enough? I mean, it's not that you're not good at painting, Mags. It's just painting a mural this large and complicated will take lots of skill and expertise. So, that's why we were having your dad make it. He's been making art forever. I agree with Paul. Klaus needs home care. You're best suited for that, Magdalene, not a mural. What is that supposed to mean? Well, are you sure you're up for it? Physically, I mean. Quite demanding. You'd be up on scaffolding and could fall. What would any of you know about it? Dad and I are the only people here who have done this work. Do it, Dad. Don't trust Magdalene to do the mural? To hell with a lot of you. Mouse! You don't trust her, you don't trust me. I'll never do any work for this council again. Alright, I say we let her. Doesn't look like we have much of a choice. Very well. Alright, Magdalene, you can do it. Still need to talk to us about what you're doing, alright? Of course. Thanks, Magdalene. Rest up, Klaus. I'll do my best, Jorg. Magdalene, just a moment. Yes? What is it? Your father is lucid right now, but his injury is severe. His current demeanor is misleading. What are you saying? Magdalene, there is damage to his brain. May have a few weeks, maybe even a few months left. But he's not going to survive. No, there has to be something you can do. No, I'm not a surgeon. Can we take him to see one? No, he can't be moved in this condition. In fact, he shouldn't move at all. Even if he could, I don't think the finest Italian surgeons would know how to deal with trauma like this. So, he's just going to die? There's nothing I can do about it? To make him comfortable, and you can enjoy the time you have left. The time will run out before long. Oh boy. So someone came, kill him, or steal the plans for the mural. Someone who doesn't want that mural to go up. Dad needs to be able to see the mural in its finished form. But I don't know how much time he has left. Werner said it could be a few months, or I'll protect him. Pick up where Dad left off. He wanted to paint the history of Tassing, from its earliest days to the revolt. Start with the earliest part of Tassing history, the pagan tribes and the Romans. Then I'll move on to the founding of the Abbey and Tassing's saints. After that, I should find a way to represent our recent history. Depicting the revolt is important to Dad. Hold on. Okay, good. The low vibration is gone. People in Tassing might know some of the town's history, but not all of it. Dad said the library in Curacao had those records. He was going to write to the last prioress to see if she had any information. Should write to her now while I'm thinking about it. Alright, where to begin? Dad told me the last prioress of Curacao knew something about the old history of Tassing. Oh, is Curacao Abbey abandoned? He said she became the abbess of a convent in Bologna. Mother Illuminata? Yes, it's Santa Margherita. I should write to her. Alright, be calm and charming. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margarita, formerly Prioress of Kirsau Abbey. My name is Magdalene Druckern. I do not believe we ever met, as I was very young when you left Kirsau. You were acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before that terrible fire consumed the place. I am writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rat House. It's going to tell the history of our community and of Kirsau as well. We have only legends and folklore, since of course all of Kirsau's books were destroyed in the fire. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of the town when the Romans were here. You know anything about the early history of the abbey itself, we would also be glad to hear of it. We would appreciate any help you could give us, and we hope you are well. My father always spoke highly of you, especially how you cared for the sisters after the fire. God bless you. Magdalene. If I want to finish the mural before Christmas, I should start planning tomorrow. Head to bed and get as much rest as I can. Oh. Oh, so there's just the convent left. The main abbey is on. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Let's go to sleep. Oh, Mr. Struckern, I have a few letters here addressed to you. Take care now. Thank you, sir. Mother Illuminata wrote back to me. I hope your response helps me paint the mural. Mr. Struckern, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. I remember you both, as your father would carry you between the rows of our library in its final years. I also remember your late mother and brother. God keep their souls. While we did have some books that discuss Tassing's past, likely they were as mythological as what your neighbors believe. That said, I remember one of the peasants, Tilman Kreutzer, read about the history of the town. I know he died during the revolt, but perhaps his family knows some of what he learned. I should also say that it's not true that all of Kirsau's books were destroyed by the fire. Andreas Mailer managed to save some from the flames, God rest his soul. In the aftermath of that terrible night, cataloging and preserving the surviving books was not at the top of any of our minds. Even so, this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Kirsau, the murder of Baron Rothvogel. It mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassiae, the comprehensive chronicle of your home. I had forgotten about it until now, because the murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. It troubles me now because I recall that the late Father Matthias was also reading a copy of Historia Tassiae shortly before he died. He never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library and went up with everything else. Perhaps Lucky Steinauer took it from the Baron after the murder. Though given the stonemason's motive, it seems unlikely. And again, only God knows what he did and why he did it. Niklaus Haberl. Cabrera, the Baron's manservant, believed it may have been stolen by the town thief, Martin Bauer. If Martin is still alive, I would ask him if he knows where the book is. Hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. If the man has passed from this world, perhaps his family knows where the book wound up. As for the history of the abbey, I fear that was also lost in the blaze. However, as sacristan, Prior Matthew learned a great deal about the subject. Ah, yeah, him. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know that he is now the Archdeacon of Sion. Once a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire, Sion became the capital of Valais, when the canton joined the Swiss Confederacy following the Swabian War in 1499. If he is no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family... He is no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family name. Assigny-so. If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before snow covers Valais. Canton and Swips Alps. Yeah, okay. Please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend to the Abbey in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will toward anyone from Tassing. I pray that you have seen better days since that night, and that God forgives the many errors we made. God bless you as well. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita. Oh, Esther wrote to me as well. My dear Magda, I pray it goes well with you. Prague has been blessedly warm as of late. We are still residing outside of the city, but we found a place to stay nearby. Father thinks the king's expulsion order will be lifted eventually. Oh, right, it's them. The Jewish couple. He says Jews are too important to printing here for the king to push us out forever. Speaking of printing, ink was well received indeed. I made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Alicia has taken to making his own ink from scraps he found around the house after he saw yours. Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the market. She set him scrubbing the floors for it. It took him 3 days. I am glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. Though really, if you don't plan to stay in Tassing, you ought to come sooner rather than later. There are plenty of beautiful young Christian men around town, printers and academics alike. Maybe something else. You'd have your pick. Prague is a good city for me as well. Before the expulsion, there was a handsome man at synagogue. Simond caught my eye. His father is a merchant, and he's a doctor. He went to the University of Padua. Can you believe it? I'd quite like to marry him, if I can find him again. Anyway, I think you'd have even better luck than me. The boys would swoon at a beautiful blonde artist from the Alps. Please keep us abreast of your father's mural. We'll have to come see when it is finished. Blessings. Esther. I'll have to write Esther back tonight. I should head home and check on Dad. Hey, Dad. How are you feeling? Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? I could bring up something light, like milk or broth. No, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, the old history. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Tassing's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till. His grandfather told him many stories. Illuminata said he used to read about the Romans. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene. Right, yes. Mother Illuminata. Young Kreutzer He's mentioned those tales from time to time, yes. He comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually when he's found some interesting old ruin out in the fields. You might ask him about that. Ill Peter's always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore, too. I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell about old Tassing. You might stop to talk to him. I didn't think of that. Thanks, Dad. Of course, Magda. It's nice to feel useful, even if I am stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. You might talk to Smokey, too. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in the woods around town than anyone else. That, and he's a known gossip. He's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain he'll know something about the ruins. May hear something worth your while, at any rate. I'll go talk to him. What about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever's left over from the Romans and before. Salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest parts of Tassing, so it only makes sense to see what they left behind. Take after your mother. She was always thorough in her research. You always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful, alright? I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. I don't know why Hjorg doesn't keep them in line, always making trouble, those two. At least Artemis actually knows how to read. I don't think Apollo can even spell his name. The boy struggles with his letters, Magdalene. Don't shame him for it. Not everyone is a printer's daughter. Don't forget your other chores while you're running around town, alright? You still have a household to run. Don't worry, I'll get everything done. That's my girl. I better get going if I want to do all that today. I'll see you later, Dad. Good luck, Magdalene. Oh, Paul has a kid and he named him Andreas. Magdalene. Snow is creeping down the mountains. Winter will be here soon. The vines have grown over the entrance to the old abbot's house. Even the old guest house is falling apart. Pet son of Mousefinger. Even the convent looks empty. Oh, hello, Magda. You wouldn't happen to be going to the convent. Why do you ask? Are you thinking to join the Poor Clares? Order of Contemplative Nuns, founded by Saints Clare and Francis of Assisi. Names suggest the Poor Clares are devoted to extreme poverty. They insist purely on the donation of alms. Maybe. Oh, that's a nice idea. Think so? I'm not sure. Be honest, what do I have to look forward to? Dad's injury, and me unwed at 25, older than all the boys in town. They don't see me as a sister, they see me as a mom. When Dad dies, not anytime soon, God willing, I won't be able to claim the farm. I'll lose my home. Plants were gone. Nobody to take it over. I understand times are tough, but are you sure this would really make you happy? It would bring me closer to the Lord. Shouldn't, oh God, shouldn't we all strive for that or whatever? Why not withdraw from the trials of the world? You know as well as I, it's not safe out here. I don't know what to say. I suppose you should follow your heart. Can I trust it? It's a nervous and confused thing. As it is often before difficult decisions. Suppose so. Joining the Poor Clares is a lifelong commitment. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't think you should. I don't think you should join the order. You can't just throw your life away over one bad day. But I wouldn't be throwing my life away, Magdalene. Paul wrote that there is no greater reward than living for Christ. I want to live a life with meaning, and I have always admired the sister's dedication. Besides, if I join the order, Dad won't have to worry about what happens to me. I'll pray about it, but I think it's time I talk to Mother Francisca and the others. So, I will gather my courage, what little of it I have. If you think that's best, just be sensible, Martha. I will. Till later. Be well. The Hand of St. Moritz. The Poor Clares take care of it now that the Benedictines are gone. Yeah, the Bowers. Oh, Brother Woslav. God bless you, Magdalene. And Matilda. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, Matilda. Hello, Woslav. How are you two? Very well, the Lord has blessed us more than we deserve. How are you, Magdalene? I was worried with you keeping the house and the workshop all on your own. Let me bring by some soup for you and your father. You're very kind, Matilda. Thank you. Not at all, Magdalene. This is how Wolslav and I serve Tassing. Our vocation may have changed, but our gratitude, God and the town, has not. Hard to imagine you two ever lived in the Abbey. Ha! Sometimes those days feel like another lifetime. Harder time, to be sure. Thought the Abbey was better off than the town in those years. So we were told, but in private, I believe Father Gernot struggled to provide for a scriptorium and a double monastery. However, seeing both the town and Curacao struggle was only a part of what made that time hard. A nun's life can be a challenging one, but I never had to deal with the difficulties you do now, Magdalene. What about your old life was difficult for you? Struggled with my vows, my discipline. I couldn't live as my sisters did. I broke my vows, as did Woslav. Fell in love. We did. Well, I seduced her. You certainly did not. Are you telling young Magda here that you seduced me, then? Woslav, please. So you left the abbey? Though no one learned of what we did, the matter ate at my heart. That and being falsely accused of murdering the old baron terrified you, and rightly so. We all must account for our sins, Magdalene. I was afraid I would account for mine sooner than I thought. Those were the hardest years of my life. I repented and prayed to God to absolve me. But the Lord always provides, even in the darkest days. Abbey's destruction gave us a second chance. It must be strange to leave that life after so long. Ha! Well, I will admit, it's been strange not being able to enter the convent. I miss the sisters terribly some days, but truthfully, it's been a relief not to be constrained by my vows. The Lord forgives more readily than man, Magdalene. Never think that you must remain in a place that causes you to sin, even if others think it godly. I'm glad you two are finally able to live life together. You both deserve it. Only by the grace... God damn it. Only something by the grace of God. May it be many more years before we part. God willing. Anyway, Magdalene, I'll send that soup over to you shortly. Thank you, Matilda. God bless you, Magda. God bless. That's nice. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring. Even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place thanks to him. It's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. What do you mean? Don't pretend like you haven't heard. Townsfolk have whispered shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm a honest man. Wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. Pulled my weight around here. Tilled the soil, salted the meats, provided for Brigitte and Kraft. Don't even get me started on Agnes. What about Agnes? Always nagging at me, saying I'm a disappointment compared to Lucky. Wasn't even here when he died. Therein lies the problem, don't you think? Your wife's dad was executed. You weren't even around to grieve with them. Not exactly. He thinks it my fault. Wanted me to take the fall for killing that nobleman. But it was that ass-licker mailer who got Lucky killed, not me. Wishing I'd died instead doesn't change that. I don't know what to tell you. Agnes is a bitter crone who should leave me be. I've done enough backbreaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a goddamn rest? I believe you, Martin. You seem like you could use a respite. Damn right. Right. I've lost enough time to this as it is. Time for you to go. Wait, I almost forgot the reason I came to you. I'm trying to learn about the history of Tassing. Told you could help. Me? What do I know about history? Mother Illuminata told me you borrowed a book of local history from Baron Rothvogel. Mother Illuminata? Oh, you mean one of the old nuns from the convent? Sure, a book. I might have taken it back then. That was a lifetime ago. I can't remember the book or what I did with it. Those years are a blur. Probably threw it away somewhere, or left it at home. Wouldn't have been much for me to do with the book. I can't read. Too unique for me to have sold, too. No one outside Tassin cares about its history anyway. Maybe I should ask Brigitte if she remembers anything about it. Sure, couldn't hurt. It was decades ago, but she's the one who remembers shit. Thanks for the help, I guess. Uh-huh. There's nothing else. I've got work to do. Till later, Martin. Till then. Magdalene, how are you keeping? Fine enough, given the circumstances. Are you getting enough rest? I know how hard it is to manage a house alone. And you have the shop and mural to worry about, too. I remember Clara wishing she had a distraction. Might see about her helping you and your father through this difficult season. That was Klaus, by the way. Any improvement? You're one of the only people I've asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Yourself disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you, carrying that weight alone. Caring for someone can be an arduous task, even if you love them. It's alright if it's you. It's alright if you find it challenging. The Lord sees your labors for your dad and admires them. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. I don't even know what I'll do if he dies. I feel crazy even thinking about it. Should the worst come to pass, you will not be alone, Magdalene. Believe me. It may feel like you are, but have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? I can't think that far ahead right now. You're right. Of course. Focus on the here and now. Be here for your dad. But you're a good girl, Magda. There are any number of families in Tassing who'd be happy to take you. You have someone in mind, don't you? I literally can't imagine who you'd be alluding to. There's not a single young man of quality in this town. Not even young Oates. Yeah, he's about as subtle as his father. God rest Otto's soul. Ah, I miss him. I wish I'd got to meet him. Properly, I mean. Made an impression, that's for certain. Oh, the girls around town know better than to moon after it. Though that didn't... Knew better than to moon after him, though that didn't stop some of us. He was Ava's from the start. Oates appears to be yours. But if nothing ever comes of that, know that you're always welcome in my family, Magda. Kraft's a nice boy, if a bit immature, but he's still growing. Are you trying to set me up with your son? Can you blame a mother for trying? You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have you as a daughter. I don't mean to be rude, but I prefer to decide in my own time. Alright, I'll let it lie. You know, not every marriage may start off on solid footing. But if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can make it work in time or something like that. Believe me. You're not making the prospects sound very enticing. Marriage is our natural state. It's in our homes that we're closest to the Lord. The Lord made us from Adam's rib because he meant us to be a part of men. You would be lonely to never know that fullness of purpose. No life for someone like you. You're not the first person to tell me so. That is because your elders are wise, Magda. Trust in our love for you and in the Lord's purpose. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Oh, before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Martin is supposed to have stolen it from that baron who was killed years ago. You know what happened to it? Oh. Hope this doesn't get me into any trouble. I still have it, hidden in a drawer. Martin left it behind when he ran off. Went to all the trouble to take it, but didn't bring it along? Martin was a thief, but he wasn't stupid. I'm sure he realized no one would believe he'd come by the book honestly, so he couldn't sell it. Why'd you keep it? What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was, holding his stolen book. I didn't want Martin to get in any more trouble than he was already in. Never read it, though. I don't read well. Can I have it? I don't know. I'd like to read it to my dad. That's a nice thought. It does seem like the kind of story Klaus would like. Oh, all right. I'd like to have nothing more to do with it, to be frank. It reminds me of difficult times. Stolen book of a dead nobleman in our home. Perhaps it spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Here you are. Please, don't tell anyone I had this. Historia Tessiae. Oh, it's in Latin. I can understand a few words and phrases. I'll take a closer look in the evening. Thank you, Brigitte. You've been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Brigitte. Until later. Never been in the bakery. Black Till. Grandson of the late Till Kreutzer, husband of Ava, father of Christina, maintains his family's interest in the history of Tassing. Kreutzers. Hello, Peter. Can I talk to you for a moment? Yeah, what's that? Can I talk to you for a moment? God damn it, don't you shout at me. Didn't hear me. Ah, you young people always hollering at me like I'm infirm already. What do you want, anyway? I was wondering if you could tell me some of the stories about Tassing. Oh, the old tales. Been so damn long since anyone had a thought to ask me about what I know. But there's still a few of the old tales knocking about in this skull. Are there any myths from even before the Romans came to Tassing? Of course there are. The Romans weren't the first ones to live here, you know. There are spirits older than the saints that live in these woods, older than the Romans. They protected Tassing before St. Moritz ever set a blessed foot in town. What sort of spirits? The sort that I'm getting at. Didn't your father teach you patience, Magdalene? Sorry. Hecta and her wild hunt that scare them evil ones away. They protected Tassing since its founding day. Long before those Romans, our ancestors roamed these mountains under a great chieftain called Raetus. Wait, isn't Raetus a Latin name? Eh? The ending on his name is the masculine singular ending common on most male Roman names. Plenty of names end with the same letters. Doesn't make them Latin, does it? Now, quit your yammering and listen. Folk weren't as kind as they are now, and the tribes fought one another for the best land. The old chieftain was a yellow-bellied coward, neglected the old gods, too proud to make offerings. Because of him, the gods favored other tribes, and Raetus' people had no land to call their own. Instead, they wandered through these mountains and valleys, hunting and gathering what they could to survive. One day, when winter was approaching, Raetus went hunting and found a wounded wolf tangled in a trap. But instead of killing the beast, as most men would, helped the beast and loosed it from its bonds. Was the wolf a spirit in disguise? Of course not. Wolves are wolves, girl. Spirits don't need the skins of animals for their power. Still, you've got the sense of the thing. The old gods are keen to repay favors done. Hecate is the goddess of the wild hunt. The wolves are her animals. She leads the wild hunt, and the wolves lead the hunts of the forest. Back in my day, folk knew it was bad luck to kill a wolf. Now I'm the only one who remembers these things. Hector saw Raetus' actions and took favor on him, and told the wolf to lead the chief to her sacred spring. Raetus led his people to the spring and claimed it for his homeland, and we've been in this valley ever since. Then those goddamn Romans came and destroyed everything, but you see, there were other gods protecting this place before St. Moritz. Why a few of us still honor Perkta, who protects us against witches and fiends. It's a wonderful story, perfect for the first part of the mural. Good, good. Nice to know I could still be of some use in this town. What about the Romans? Do you know any Roman legends of Tassing? Roman legends? Pah! I don't bother with stories from outsiders or tales of gods that aren't our own. Romans did nothing but conquer our people and destroy this town. We spent generation after generation building Tassing back up from those days. And still, our traditions keep dying, with no one to carry them on. That's why I want to know, Peter. These stories need to be on the mural. The mural? Fine, fine, but I don't know any of the old Roman shit. Alright, alright. I have a lot to think about. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, Peter. At least someone wants to listen to me. I'm tired. Talking so much has made my jaw ache. I'll leave you to rest then. God bless you, Peter. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Till. Do you have a moment? Of course, what do you need? Oat says you've been obsessed with your painting. I'm looking into the early history of Tassing for the first part of the mural. Mother Illuminata said your grandfather read about the history of the town. Ah, fertile fields, that is. Seemed like old pot shards and Latin trivia were all he ever talked about. All of Granddad's reading came through the Abbey's library, though, and you know what happened there. Oof! Up in smoke. I remember. I was there. Ah, you were just a babe in arms then. Never got to know the library in its prime. But I could show you something better than books. Don't keep me in suspense. Didn't your dad ever teach you patience? Trying to build up some anticipation. Right, so we don't have any books on the old pagans, but we do have their stuff. Shards of ceramic pots and animals, bricks from what looks to be an old forge, mountains of salt. Even found a little bear carved from amber. Where did you find all this stuff? Not just me. Carl finds things. Fabian, too. Any farmer would tell you the same. It's all out there in the fields under the dirt. Can't go one season without turning up something. Where are you keeping these things? Nowhere. We just toss them into piles with the rest of the rocks and root clumps. Sure, it's interesting, but we can't do much of anything with the stuff except look at it. What do you think it all means? I don't follow. How do you think... What do you think they were like? Huh. Guess I never really thought about it. They seem like regular people. Their, remains all look like ours. Tools and weapons are rougher, but not badly made. The little carvings and ceramic critters aren't so different from the things Ava made for Oats. Huh. I suppose I expected them to be more strange. Because they weren't Christians? No doubt they were coarse, but they don't seem especially violent, not like the church says. Not so different from today, really. Earlier you mentioned something about salt. The pagans start the mine? Had to have, I'd say. Most people think it was a Roman project, but I think the Romans just dug out what was already there. That's why Tassing was so important to the Romans in the first place. Salt. So Tassing wasn't just on the Imperial Road, they made the road come through Tassing. You think there's anything left of the pagans down there? I don't know, but anything they left would have to be better preserved than what we dig up out of the fields. Magdalene, tell me you aren't thinking of going down there. I am definitely not thinking of going down there. Young lady, I may have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Know a lie when I hear one. That mine is hundreds of years old. You could break your neck just getting in there. It's worth it for the mural. I want to try my best. For Dad. Imagine how your dad would feel if you got hurt. He doesn't have to know. Won't tell him, right? I'm not lying to your father so you can put yourself in harm's way. Now, you're a clever girl, so I don't doubt you'll find a way in if you set your mind to it. But I can't help you, Magdalene. It'd break your father's heart if something happened to you. It's fine. I understand. Good. This has been a big help. Glad to spread some knowledge around. Important for folks to know their past. You think all this pagan stuff will make it in the mural? I could bring over some of the things the boys and I have found over to the rat house tomorrow if that'd help at all. That would be great. I'm glad you're taking an interest, Magdalene. Thought no one cared about the pagans but me and Granddad. Warn you, if you do head into the forest, keep an eye out for the Lord's men. They're strict, worse now than they used to be. I'll be careful. Until tomorrow. Till then. It's nice to see some green this time of year. Horehound is one of the few plants that grows year-round here. Good day, Mr. Struckerin. I've told you, Smokey. Call me Magdalene. Sorry, had a drink. Old habits, I suppose. What brings you to my corner of the woods? More gossip? Only ancient gossip. I was wondering if you knew anything about the old pagan and Roman mines. Mines? Is this a new interest of yours, Magdalene? I don't see the townsfolk trek out there as much anymore. Last I saw were those two twins making trouble. They know a way in, but I'll be damned if I ever set foot close to that place. What are you so interested in over there? Mural in the right house needs a section about the earliest days of Tassing. Mines are the oldest part of Tassing, and you keep a keen ear. I thought you might have heard something. I don't know about getting down to the mines, but I do know a fair few stories about them and the other Roman ruins around here. The old stories my father used to tell me when he was the burner of Tassing. The one about Mars and Tassia, the nymph, was always my favorite, though I blame that on my youth. Tassia? Like Tassing? Folk named the town after a pagan god. Roman one at that. I don't mind telling you the tale, Magdalene, but I warn you, it's a bit bawdy. Oh, count me curious. Ah, I won't be scandalizing you. Can't have your father hounding me for any coarseness. I'll tell the decent bits of what I remember. Everyone excludes me from the fun. You'll have your fun in time, Magdalene. You just wait and see. Alright. So what's the story? Well, legend says that Mars was hunting in these woods and spied a fat boar for the taking. Just pulled back his spear when he heard a woman scream in terror. Of course, the creature ran off, and the god was angry at the loss of his quarry. So he tramped through the woods to see why a woman was in the forest and not in the local town. Why would a god be hunting in Tassing's forest? How should I know? Maybe he just wanted a brisk walk. Besides, why should anything the gods do make sense? These were the old days when spirits and ghosts prowled. I need more facts, Smokey, not folk tales. Every tale has a seed of truth in it, Magdalene. How else does it become a story? If you're looking for facts, go find that doctor, or the inventor. Not a learned man, but I know some things. Stories are one of them. Alright. Keep going. So, Mars found a nymph, Tassia, bathing in a spring, a fat, ugly satyr goading her from the shore. Enraged at seeing the trapped nymph, Mars transformed into a wolf and slew the satyr. And in return, well, Tassia bathed the god. Ah, I get it. They bathed. I did warn you, Magdalene. Oh, they fucked in a pool. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground and it blossomed with flowers and crops. They say that's why this valley is so fertile. We've been growing crops here for generations. People would want a reason for that, even if it was the gods. Whatever the reason, Tassing's been blessed with fertile ground for hundreds of years. So much of what the Romans left behind was destroyed over the years, but I like that we still have these tales. Never really destroy stories as long as there are people to tell them. Of course, the Romans left a hell of a lot behind too. The town is more Roman than Bavarian, really. Well, we are a part of... That's ridiculous. We're Bavarian, not Roman. Ah, I mean the town itself, Magdalene. Structures, not those who live in it. Passing is actually much smaller now than it was in the Romans' day. At least that's what I make of it. The ruins go deep into the forest and all the way to the old mine. Half of Tassing is built on Roman stone. Take a walk around town and you'll start noticing things. He used their stone to build. The old temple by Satia's shrine has grown over, but the aqueduct runs for miles. Even the abbey used to be an old Roman fort. See some of the Roman paved stones under the road if you look hard. We may not be Roman, this town is. Passing has been building upon itself for hundreds of years. What a beautiful idea. That's the way of things. Most people don't notice the old stones. Too busy in town to notice what's right in front of their eyes. Maybe I should go take a look at the mine. I'd get a better sense of what things were actually like. Nothing will stop you, I see. Well, I won't either. Just keep an eye for any wolves or satyrs you might see down there, eh? I'll let you know if I see any. Thanks for your help. Good luck, Magdalene. Be safe. Pig out here? Must have broke out of its pen. I wonder who it belongs to. Mugwort is always useful for colds and fevers. It might not be as powerful as when we gather it on St. John's Eve, but it should still work. If I wanted to pick the mural as accurately as possible, I have to go down the shaft myself. The entrance is so steep, no one's used it in years. There must be some way to get down there. If I rigged a rope to the top beams, I'd be able to get down more easily. Saw some rope in the workshop at home. I should be able to find everything I need there. I'll have to come back later. This should be enough rope. With the sturdy knot, I could brace myself against the mine shaft on the way down. And my rope to climb down, but this should take a while. Should I head in? Climb down the shaft. There are a lot of different coins down here. How odd. It's not like this is a saint's well. Oh, a tablet. They're still writing on it. Oh, it's a poem. I think it's a love note. Rising passion. This looks like a larger version of some of Baltus's contraptions. This winch must have been attached to some sort of hauling and pulley system. Fascinating. Now that I'm down here, I should find what I can find from the Roman era and before. Oh, bones. They're far too big to be human. No horns. Looks like a mule to me. Maybe it hauled that winch. Poor creature, dying down here. Oh, a piece of pottery. It's beautiful. Here's another piece. Must be the same kind of figurines Till and the other farmers find in the fields. Think that there are so many remnants of our ancestors scattered in fields and caves like this. Another piece. I wonder if they're all the same pot. Oh, another shard. Pottery scattered everywhere. Yet another pottery piece. There's a Latin inscription here. Assia, give me water, or Pluto, preserve me. Salt is drying me to death. Alex doesn't sound like working down here was pleasant. Looks like a Roman map of Tassing. I wonder what's changed. Let's see if I can map everything out. There's the aqueduct and the spring. The abbey was an old fort up on the hill, and there's the rest of the town. Wait, what's this building? I don't recognize it. Mithraeum. I don't recognize that word from any of my books. Can't quite tell what it's meant to label on the map. Maybe some sort of temple? Whatever it is, it's not in Tassing now. It's so odd. Hey, this piece looks like it matches the other piece I found. Almost looks like an altar, but what would an altar be doing in a salt mine? It's even carved out of the salt. Another inscription. It's not very formal. A worker must have carved it. Latius' soul ascended in the Mithraeum. My soul will descend in this damned hall of salt. Christ, that's rough. There's that word again, Mithraeum. It must have been important to the Romans. Another shard. More Latin writing. If we cannot enter the Mithraeum, we will make our own altar to the gods. Sounds like the Mithraeum was some kind of temple. Huh, I've never heard the word before. Ooh, another piece. And I have a lot of these pottery pieces. I should find out if they're all from the same pot. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that goes here. Got it. Figures on this pot lid look like they're telling a story. These paintings must depict an early myth, even before the Romans. Let's see, this must be Percta, and those must be forest spirits, part of the wild hunt. Oh god, the next part looks like a human sacrifice. Someone, maybe a chieftain, is sacrificing a man to Percta. Bottom half of the lid continues the story. These look like spirits. They must be coming in to feast on the sacrifice. That must be how our ancestors tried to keep Tassing safe. They offered sacrifices to Percta. Think that our ancestors made this, and I'm holding it now. Maybe this is what I could paint in them. I have to think more about it before I decide for certain. Alright, I better keep going before I run out of oil in my lamp. Oh, a cave-in. The wood here looks newer than the first part of the mine. Was this collapse recent? I won't be able to go any further with all the rubble. I suppose this is as far as I can go. Still, the murals on the wall show me what Tassing was like when the Romans were here. I wonder if I could find out where the Mithraeum was, or what it is. Putting the pottery shard back together showed one of the earliest stories of Tassing. I think I've seen everything I can down here. My oil is running out. Time to climb back out. Ah! Wait, who's that? Hello? Someone there? Better get out of the shaft before another rock comes crashing down. Who was that? Even Apollo and Artemis would have helped me out of here. Now that I have some more information, make some decisions on the first section of the mural. Go back to the rat house and get to work. You. Yes? I'm Haller Brant, the Lord's gamekeeper. Why are you grazing pigs in the woods? I'm not. That's not my pig. I've been walking around this forest for hours. Other than the charcoal burner and the tinker, you're the only other person I've seen. Pig doesn't belong to you. What are you doing here? Does everyone have to justify being in the woods? I think you're stealing the Lord's wood or illegally grazing your pigs. Yes. Alright, let me ask a different question. Whose pig is this? I don't know. The pig was in the woods when I came in here. Ah, a mysterious lost pig, who apparently belongs to no one. If I find any more pigs in these woods, I'll kill them on the spot. And those who brought them here. Do you understand? Yes. Good. Remind your neighbors what happens when you break the Lord's laws. I knew the Lord's men patrolled these woods, but I've never seen one before. I didn't realize they were so strict. I suppose I should consider myself lucky. Anyway, time to get out of these woods and get back to work at the rat house. Oh, whoa. Rat house is the biggest building in Tassing. Baltus's clock took ages to build in place. Hey, Mags, how's the mural coming along? Magdalene. Can't you let it go? Mags is so much easier. No, Otto Zimmerman, I can't. Don't call me. Fine. Anyway, Magdalene, how's the mural going? Doesn't look like much yet. Well, of course it doesn't look like anything now. I only just finished priming the wall, and now I have to decide what to depict. Hard to piece together the history of Tassing when it happened so long ago. Since the Abbey Library burned, I can only rely on stories from people around Tassing. Even what I could find out about the Romans and pagans was obscure. I had to go into the old salt mine to find anything. At least now I know what to paint for the first part of the mural. So, what is it? Il Peter remembered a legend about a chieftain, Ratus, who healed a wolf that led him to our spring. Huh, really? Is that how we all got here? Kinda sounds like some story I heard about a saint. I don't think I've heard it. Sorry. Ah. What made you choose this story anyway? I like that it's about the founding of Tassing. Everyone knows the spring in the woods. Guess that's true. We all know that it's old and that it's always been there. This just tells the story about how we found it. Thanks for explaining it. Of course, I want you all to understand why I'm making these choices. Well, now that I've figured this portion of the mural out, I better start thinking about next section. I'll leave you to it, Magdalene. Good night, Oates. Good night, Magdalene. Now that I've decided how to depict Tassing's earliest history, I should just decide how to paint Pearsow's history. Another Illuminati's letter mentioned that Matthew Fausigny Sow used to be a brother in Kearsau. He said he knew a great deal about the Abbey's history. I should write to him and ask him what he remembers. Oh, and I have Esther's letter to answer, too. I should write to both of them now, before bed. Oh, before I write, I should read that old book Brigitte gave me. Maybe I'll learn something pertinent for the mural. Hey, Dad, how are you feeling? Can I get you anything? No, I'm fine. Go on. Alright, I'll come back and check on you later. Alright, where to begin? Right, the old book. It was the Baron's before Martin stole it. When the Romans, having conquered the town, built up the walls around it, they established many temples there. It's harder to read than I thought. The book isn't in great shape either, since it's been sitting in a farmer's house for so long. Let's see. Here's a section about the various dedications erected in the town. That might be easy to read. Rego simulacrum in agre ut Mars nostrum operum conspiciat. I raise a vision in a field so that Mars may behold our work. Huh. That it Diana locos altoriginosus ipsa. Diana sat in a place with water oozing up from herself. What does that mean? Yeah, Diana, that's the spring. Orames ut defendat opidum. Let us pray so that he or she may defend the town. None of this really makes any sense. Maybe someone with better Latin than me could help me read it. The book is so big, though, it would be a lot of work. I could ask Sister Gertrude or Baltus for help. Warner, too. He's much better at Latin than anyone else in town. Maybe even Father Thomas, even though Dad warned me not to bother him with secular books. Chances are slim they could help, but it might be worth asking about. Finish writing my letters first. Mother Illuminata told me that Matthew knew some of the Abbey's early history. The Archdeacon of Sion now. I should write to him before the snows come. I'll write to Esther, too. Most revered Matthew Fausigny Thou, Archdeacon of Sion. My name is Magdalene Druckerin. I'm the daughter of Tassing's town printer, Klaus. My father and I are creating a mural for Tassing's rat house. We want to show the history of the town and the abbey. I heard that you were the sacristan at Kearsau and knew a great deal about the abbey's early history. I understand you are a busy man, but we would be most appreciative of any information you could give us. If you know of any other places where we might learn about the abbey's history, we would appreciate it. I know it may be small comfort, but there are many in no. Thank you for your help and consideration. Thank you for your help, Magdalene. Esther. Please forgive me for not writing sooner. So much has happened since I last wrote. Even as my last letter was en route to you, Dad was attacked in the workshop in the middle of the night. He survived, thank God, but his injuries are terrible. I worry about him. He's so dizzy he can't get out of bed. Some days his eyes become foggy and his memory fails him. Dr. Stolz said that he's not going to recover, that it's only a matter of time before he succumbs to the injury. don't want to believe it, but it's hard to argue with Dad's condition. I have no idea who could have wanted to attack my father, or why. Found a note by him, too. All it said was, "Stop." It wasn't from the shop, because the script was written in the most elaborate hand I've ever seen. No one in Tassing has such skill in script, as far as I know. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Anyway, I don't have the time to wonder about it. I've had my hands full running the workshop alone while tending to Dad. What's more, the town council intended to cancel the mural entirely. I had a hell of a time convincing them to let me paint it instead. They made a fuss about my being too young, not experienced enough, not strong enough to be on the scaffold. You know how it is. I suppose I shouldn't have expected any better of them. Working on the mural has been a welcome distraction from the naysayers and my chores. Worrying about Dad. Oates has been coming over under the pretense of helping me prepare my paints, too. I wish he'd stop. He's not subtle, and his flirting is annoying. I'd like to have the whole mural finished by Christmas, if I can. I just want to finish it in time for Dad to see it. It would mean so much to him. Dr. Stoles is right. I don't know how long I'll have. I hope you're faring better than we are here. All my love, Magda. Alright, bedtime. Late, I should get some rest soon. Go to sleep. Mistress Druckerin of the Reichspostman. Mistress Druckerin, a few more letters for you. Take care. Thank you, sir. Safe travels. First letters from Reverend Matthew. Mistress Druckerin, I was not acquainted with your family during my years at Kearsau. Even so, I remember your father was one of the townsfolk who prevented the peasantry from burning us alive. I'm not overly inclined to assist the people of Tassing in their endeavors to catalog the origins of the abbey they destroyed. However, it was a long time ago. In the interest of posterity and Christian charity, I will tell you what I recall. Is that the guy who he was in love with? He was kissing in the background there. That feels like it. Sometime after the Romans left, Christians settled in the region and built Kearsau Abbey on the ruins of a fortress. The abbey was founded by a noblewoman of the Kearsau family. She was both its patron and its first abbess. Perhaps 2 centuries ago, Kearsau changed to being run by an abbot. I do not know the reason, but many other double monasteries did likewise around the same time. They may have been done out of fear of being shut down, as double monasteries were frowned upon by the Pope. Sadly, that is the extent of my knowledge. No neighbors put any other records about the abbey to the torch. Sic arset historia Kyrsis. Thus burned the history of Kyrsaw. While we cannot change the past, I have heard that Sisters of the Poor Clares have formed a new chapter at the abbey. I can only hope that their love of apostolic poverty has not driven them to impoverish the shrine of St. Moritz. Assuming they have not consigned the contents of Kyrsaw's former occupants to a bonfire, may find something there. I hope this has been of some help to you and yours. May God keep and protect you. Most Reverend Matthew Bo Sousen, Archdeacon of Sion. Hey, Graham. Oh, another reply from Esther. Oh, Magdalene. I am terribly sorry to hear about your father. My parents send their deepest condolences. If we can provide you anything from Prague, you need only send word. I know we are further away than is easy to travel, but I will see what we can do, what Hashem allows. I will see what that we can do. Literally, the name in Hebrew. This is a way to refer to God indirectly in informal conversation or writing. Father says that he remembers no one who would want to harm your father. Yet, the night I was born, he remembers great strife in town. Perhaps there is old blood over depicting the night of the revolt. That is all he could suggest. Pray for you and your father every day in our offerings. Hashem will make all things right in time. He will exact justice on the culprit. I am encouraged to hear that the town council let you continue the mural at all. Guilds here would protect your right to complete a job, especially once a contract has been reached. You give the men of council too much grace. Why should you be forced to settle for their old ways of thinking? We live in a new age. An age where art and science have come together. An age when all may read the works of the great sages in their own language. Truly, when your father recovers, I urge you to come visit me in Prague. But I am glad you have found some joy in your work on the mural. We are all well here. Alicia has been carving a new set of wood cuttings, and Father has agreed to a new contract with the university. I found Simond. Family didn't move far away after all. He's planning on working as a doctor in the city once the expulsion order ends. Parents have been meeting with Mother and Father quite often now. So I hope that I will be sending good news in my next letter. Hashem's help. Please inform us of your father's condition in your next letter. Be well. Esther. That's all the letters I have for now. I should head home and check on Dad. Werner was supposed to come check on Dad today. I wonder where he is. Maybe I should try to find him later. Good morning, Magdalene. Morning, Dad. Feeling any better? Your fever broke at dawn this morning. A little stronger. All things. Time. Want anything to eat before I leave for the day? I'm working on the next section of the mural today. Not so hungry right now. I'll be alright. Letter from the Archdeacon. Yes, that's right. You learn from him. Well, I'm pretty sure he still hates everyone in Tassing. He did say the abbey was founded by a noble woman after the Romans left. Everything else burned in the fire. How unfortunate. I know the brothers kept careful records of the monastery. So much lost in one night. The Archdeacon did suggest the poor Clares might have held on to some of the records from the convent. I should be able to learn more about Tassing's Christian history there. An excellent place to start, Magdalene. Sister Gertrude doesn't come out of the convent much, but I think it's worth asking. Maybe Father Thomas knows something too. I should talk to him. If I recall correctly, the miller's wife has a long family history. You may know something of the local history that the others have forgotten. Elsa? I thought she moved here when she married. She doesn't have any relatives in town. Not anymore. Age, illness, and marriage took the rest of her family. But the Caviezel's used to live all up and down this valley. Go talk to her, hmm? I will, thanks, Dad. Maybe something remained in the Abbey's ruins. I should definitely see what's left. Magdalene, you be careful. Those ruins are dangerous. I won't go far into them, Dad, just to take a look. Alright, wear a scarf too. It's getting cold out now. I can feel it in my old bones. Don't worry, Dad. I'll see you tonight, alright? Alright, good luck. Wait a second, let me check. Okay, let's do the church first, since it's the closest. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Father Thomas. Do you have a moment? Of course. What can I help you with? I wanted to ask you about Tassing's Saints. I'd like to represent them in the Rat House. Thrilled to hear it. Saints will make a wonderful centerpiece for girls. No, not as a centerpiece. Simply as part of Tassing's history. Of course, I consider our saints to be central to Tassing's history. Your house, too. But you know there is one saint you're overlooking. Hmm? Why, the Blessed Virgin, of course. Mary. Many people forget that Mary is the greatest saint. Visited one of the peasants here in Tassing centuries ago. Virgin Mary appeared in Tassing? Why? Yes, she appeared to give a message. Centuries ago, a farmer in the fields behind us had 3 visions of Mary. In the first, she told him that she wanted him to tell the Bishop of Freising that she had appeared. To tell the Bishop of Freising that she had appeared. The peasant traveled down to Freising, but the bishop would not see or hear him. It seems like a reasonable response, all things considered. Perhaps, but blessed are those who believe but have not seen. But sadly, the bishop did not believe. The peasant returned to Tassing and had another vision in the field. The virgin showed him a pattern, a labyrinth. Told him to draw it on a sheet of birch bark and bring the drawing to the Bishop of Freising. Why didn't you just give him the labyrinth the first time? The bishop attempted to turn the peasant away, could see the drawing of the labyrinth in his hands. It was the same image that the bishop had seen in a dream 3 nights earlier. He met with the peasant, who told him of the 2 apparitions he had seen here in Tassing. The bishop was moved by the peasant's story and came here, to Tassing. The bishop came here? He did. The only time the bishop ever come to Tassing. When the bishop came, Mary appeared to both of them. She told the farmer that the town needed to build this church. She told the bishop to support the town. I had no idea that's where all this came from. Not a story I tell much anymore. I suppose the people here think of Moritz and Satya, their connection to the place. Mary is such a core part of their prayers that they forget about our particular Mary. But in any case, Our Lady's demands were clear, so the bishop helped fund the creation of this church. People of Tassing have been using it ever since. I think if I include the saints in the mural, I'll place Our Lady among them. I think that is a most excellent idea, Magdalene. It will help reinforce Our Lady's presence in the minds of the faithful. Worthy addition to the story and the devotion of our people. Thank you for the story, Father Thomas. Have I convinced you to include the saints prominently in the mural? I'm still considering it. Well, if deliberation fails you, perhaps you will find that prayer gives you greater clarity. God bless you and your work, Magdalene. God bless you, Father Thomas. Magdalene, dear, what brings you up the hill? Dad was telling me your family's been in Tassing for hundreds of years. Oh, is this for the mural? I'm not sure I want to get mixed up in. I won't depict your family specifically, if that helps. One of the few people who knows anything about the town after the Romans left. The Mullers have been a pillar of Tassing for generations. Though I'm afraid I only know a little bit about them. Much of that I've heard from others. Lenhart didn't care to talk about the past. I meant your family, the one you were born to. Family name was Caviezel, wasn't it? Oh. Not a soul in town has asked me about my family in years. I was beginning to think my neighbors had forgotten us. Oh, hey, Graham. Cute little buddy. I am not surprised your father remembers the Caviezel's. He was sweet on my sister before he met your mother. I am the last of us left now. Caviezel doesn't sound like a local name. Why wouldn't it be? I am Bavarian. It is my name. So, it is a Bavarian name. No one else in town has a name like that. And shouldn't you be Caviezelin? I have always been called Caviezel, as were my sisters and mother, and her mother before her. My grandfather told me the Caviezels have lived in this area for hundreds of years. Perhaps even 1,000, though it seems impossible to imagine a time so long ago. The Caviezels were pagans? Yes, the original Bavarian people, here even before the Romans. My grandfather said his grandfather told him the Caviezels resettled the town after the Romans left. Built their new home right on the spot where they had been living when the Romans arrived. That's just a story. How do you know any of it's true? Heard it from my family. Do you think they would lie? I didn't mean that. No, I think you did, but it's all right. However true it may or may not be doesn't matter, Magda. It matters that I believe it, that it connects me to my ancestors. When I think of the ancient Caviezel's driven from their land, only to find it again and become Christians, they feel nearer to me. You understand? I don't know, it's a strange way of thinking. I know it doesn't feel like it, but we're so young yet. Keep your heart open, Christ, and one day you will understand. Thank you, Elsa. You've given me much to consider. God bless you, Magdalene, dear. Talked to Sister Gertrude. She was a Benedictine nun at Kierstadt before the poor Clares arrived. She would be able to tell me all about the convent's history for the funeral. God bless you, Magdalene. Hello, sister. I have a favor to ask of you. Of course, Magdalene. I'll help however I can. I have a book, The Historia Tessiae, and I can't read it very well. Could you help me translate it? Oh, I'm afraid my Latin isn't good enough to translate something like that. Grammar structures are far too complex. I'm sorry, Magdalene. That's all right, sister. I'll have to find another way. There was one more thing, if you don't mind. It's about the Red House mural. Oh, did you need more paint? I believe I have enough galls stored away. No, thank you, sister. I have more than enough paint. I wanted to ask you about the history of Kiersau, actually. I'd like to include the Abbey's founding and the history of tasking saints to the Red House mural. I wrote to Reverend Matthew since he lived at the Abbey, but wanted to see the place firsthand. Brother Matthew became a reverend, did he? He was always suited to such a role. But I don't suppose that's what you came up the hill for. You're curious about the saint's history, yes? Yes, I was hoping you could show me around the convent and tell me more about its history. Poor Clares don't allow outsiders within the convent, even other women. Mother Francisca wouldn't like anyone coming in for such a worldly concern. Well, that makes my job difficult. Let me finish, Magdalene Druckern. However, Mother Francisca always welcomes those who are considering joining the order. If a young woman sincerely considered joining the convent, she may be allowed to enter and observe the sisters. Who knows what else she may discover while contemplating the holy life, Well, I suppose exploring all of my options can't hurt. Exploring the convent will take some time. Would you like to go see Mother Francisca now? No, I have other things to do first. Very well, come find me if you change your mind. God bless you, Magdalene. What are you doing here? Oh, hey there. Hello, Kraft. What are you doing here? Nothing. Aren't you supposed to be, well, doing whatever you do all day long? What I do is none of your concern, Mags. If you're doing something improper, it'll soon be the concern of Big York to begin with. Damn, caught by the Imperial Law herself. What, I'm not allowed to just stand near the shrine in the convent? I've turned you down so many times that you've decided to go after nuns instead? Why not? One of them is quite attractive at my age, I think. Since you're such a bitch, what else am I supposed to do? There aren't many options in this town. You're one of the few that'd do for a spouse. Well, thank you for such high praise, asshole. No need to blame me, Mags. I only say what God deems right. Happily submit yourselves to your husband and all that shit. And husbands, give yourself up to your wives as Christ for the church. Ah, whatever. Sooner or later, you'll run out of potions, so you'll come around. Oh, options. You'll come around. Not, I suppose you can always join the convent. You fit right in. Roll your eyes. This is going nowhere. I'm leaving, alright? Find Dr. Stoles. Oh. Ugh. Burner? Uh, Prod him with your foot. You're supposed to come check on Dad today. I don't have the strength to carry him home. I have to tell someone. Maybe Baltus. They're still on friendly terms. Yazzie. Oh. Or Big Yorg. He's strong. He can do it. What a mess. Hello, Magdalene. Here. How are you? How's Klaus? He's... Neither of us is doing well. I'm having trouble coping with the stress. Dad's been hard to understand recently. Oh God, I will keep praying for you both. Both of you deserve the best. Life's been hard enough for you already. Please let me know if you need any help around the house. I'd be happy to help. Never heard anyone so excited to do housework before. Well, God knows I've gotten very good at it over the years. Besides, then we could chat, and chatter makes chores pass quickly. With all my children up and grown, and no husband to care for anymore, I've got to make myself useful somehow. Big Jorg is still in the house, though, isn't he? Oh, yes, but he's a grown man with children of his own. He and Veronica are capable of caring for their own household now. Ava is taking care of Oates, and Ursula and Fabian have their own life together. They don't need me anymore. Sounds sad. Well, I suppose I am. Thank God that my children are all grown and prospering. But I do feel there's been something missing in my life. After so many years of tending to them and maintaining a home, I don't know what else to do. God did give us the Sabbath to rest, you know. York has been telling me to rest more, you know. Perhaps these days are my reward until the Lord takes me. Well, I still do want to take some of the burden of the chores off your hands. I'll be over soon, alright? See you then, Clara. God bless you, Magdalene. Hey, Magdalene, can I help you with something? I found Dr. Stolz passed out drunk by the bakery, sleeping in a ditch. Again? For Christ's sake, it happening occasionally is fine, but the man can't hold his beer. Say so. Can you help him? Ah, of course. I'll go fetch him. Thanks, Magdalene. Yeah, I think that one guy, the guy trolling the woods for the Lord, said that he saw the inventor out in the forest. So is that where he lives? Baltazar, okay, Eisenkopf. Hey, that is where his house is, up north, in the north of town. Shit. Magdalene, Magdalene. Yes. Cinnamon I added to the beer is perfect. Isn't that a spice? Yes, with many wonderful properties. Copper pots you helped me pipe are part of the process. Oh, I thought it was for something more serious. Magdalene, making beer is quite serious. Anyway, it's for the Christmas celebration. Oh, I suppose you don't have much time left. Quite right. Wheel of Time stops for no man. But it's going to be wonderful. Cinnamon, coffee from Ethiopia, cow from the New World. Jesu Christo. Aha de Narufes. Jesus Christ. He who has the money can do everything. Problem? Of course not. It's your money. Anyway, I'm quite excited about it. Clearly. As such, alchemy is not normally my strong suit. And for all of Gnaziu's complaints about the cost, the base rye we're using is free. Really? Yes. The farmers had so much rye this year, they just couldn't use it all. Gretch made as much bread with it as she could, but she wound up having to throw a lot out. So why not make beer? Yes, why not? Thank you. I was actually hoping you might be able to translate something for me. Translate? From Latin? Yes. Came across a book about the history of tasting, and I was hoping you could help me read. Oh no, not today. I'm far too busy for that at the moment. As you and I have our hands full preparing the Christmas ale, you see. Of course, sorry to bother you. Not at all. Apologies, I couldn't be of more help. Okay, so... Father Thomas is my only option left. Hello, Father Thomas. Can you spare a moment? Yes, of course, Magdalene. What is it? Well, I found this book, but I can't read the Latin very well. Could you help me translate it? The whole book? Here, I can't afford that much time away from my duties right now. Christmas sermon is coming up, and I've already fallen behind on Advent preparations. The matter wait, perhaps? I'd be happy to look it over after the festivities. I suppose. Good. Alright, so it's not getting translated at any time soon. Alright, let's go in. God bless you, Magdalene. Would you like to go inside and meet with Mother Francisca now? Yes, let's go. Mother Francisca, I'd like to introduce Magdalene Druckerin. Printer's daughter, yes. God bless you, Magdalene. Father Thomas told us of your father's condition. We pray for his recovery daily. Oh, thank you, Abbess. Such is our duty to serve the Lord and the community that provides for us. Now, what is this about, Sister Gertrude? You know our holy rules. Why bring young Mistress Druckerin to me? Forgive me, Mother. Magdalene is searching for a place in the world and is contemplating the holy life. I thought observing the sisters might aid her in her spiritual search. She was encouraged by the idea. Right. Yes. I wonder that you've never come up to the Abbey before, Mistress Druckerin. If God is calling you to the convent, I am more than willing to help you fulfill that divine cause. What brought this change on? Why are you interested in joining the Poor Clares? I'm worried that helping my father, running the shop alone, and finishing the mural are too much for me. Magdalene, you should not abdicate your worldly duties for fear of the unknown. However, I agree that working a printing shop and painting are not suitable duties for a woman. Thank God you have turned to us for help. It is no wonder you have felt overburdened by all of this. Please, come, I am happy to tell you more of our order. Drink. Our small convent used to be part of the larger Kirsau double monastery, as I'm sure you've been told by Sister Gertrude. However, the Poor Clares live far differently than the Benedictines that once lived here. We believe that it is not ours to protect and live solely on the alms of the community of Tassing, as they see fit to give. Likewise, none of the sisters here own any personal property. Share this convent is a gift from the church. We believe that the Lord called us into a life of poverty and service. Does such a life appeal to you, Magdalene? I'm not entirely certain yet. I'd like to explore and look around to get a feel for the... Magdalene, you must not have understood me. We have deliberately closed ourselves off from the world. I won't have a laywoman bothering the sisters from their duties or disturbing our rule. However, I will allow Sister Suzanne to show you our duties. Take your time. When you have finished, please come find me and we will discuss your decision to join. Finally, I thought she'd never finish. What? Truthfully, I'm not here to join the convent. I'm looking for references for a mural I'm painting in the rat house. Well, I'm going to take a look around. Where are we going first? Convent has many parts. The kitchen, the aquarium, the chapter house, the yard, and the old workshop, though no one uses that old shed anymore. I'll leave it to you to decide where to go first. Chapel sounds right. This is the chapel where we all gather for Mass and liturgy, the oldest part of the convent. And the most drafty. Hello again, Sister Gertrude. Sisters have done some minor retouches over the years, but it has represented the Abbey from its earliest days. Oh, there's the tower and the library. The cloister is still being constructed here. Yes, the tower was a Bergfried, freestanding defensive tower not built for permanent habitation, long before the structure became a monastery. The duchy gifted it to the Benedictine order after the Holy Roman Empire grew. They had no use for it as a keep. These walls have protected Tassing from attacks of spirit and steel for generations. There's Latin here, too. God called Lady Sabine to lead our sisters and brothers in 1261. Lord Kirsau's castle was destroyed by fire in the year of the death of the Emperor Frederick II. Only the tower remained. Well done, Magdalene. Yes, the first lists the abbey's the first lists the abbey's founding date. The Lady Kirsau was actually the one to suggest the old castle be turned into a double monastery. We added the second shortly after the revolt. Mother Illuminata thought it would be fitting. Even if the sisters were not here, some record of what occurred would remain. Kirsau was unique, a double monastery with two saints, one male and one female, to guard the town and abbey. It seems odd that a monastery would reuse a place meant for war and force. Not war, Magdalene, but protection. The Burgfried is a defensive tower. You were right, sister. This mural will be a great reference for the rat house. And I'm glad to have helped. God bless you, Magdalene. Here's the aquarium. Most of the abbey's visitors come in here, but aren't allowed to enter. We aren't allowed to go into the outside world either. Like Mother Francisca said, isolation is part of our vows. Sister Gertrude once told me the old Benedictine sisters used to go out into town sometimes, even talk to men on occasion. And I'm stuck here, staring at these walls for the rest of my life. It doesn't seem like Sister Suzanne thinks much of her life here. Can't blame her. Even so, she doesn't seem to have the passion that Sister Gertrude and the others have. Hates her life here so much, maybe I should encourage her to leave the order. Better to leave while she has a future ahead of her. For all, there are plenty of young men in Bavaria who would make good husbands. Still, there may be some reason she chose to stay. I don't want to overstep my bounds. Are you unhappy here, Sister Suzanne? I don't know. My father promised me church as a baby, some oath he swore when my mother struggled in her pregnancy. There I was, dropped into the poor Clares the summer I turned 17. I'm so sorry. No one should be forced into a life they don't want. We daughters are born to bear our family's legacy. Between our legs or on our backs, it doesn't matter. My family is devoted to the church. I've only been in the convent for 2 years, but I'm trying my best. Don't mind the prayers of the hours, and I'm sure of my devotion to the Lord, but this isn't what I wanted. Since when did a woman ever get what she wanted without being punished? Eve couldn't manage. We can only do the best we can. I pray that one day it'll be different. Maybe, but we certainly won't ever live to see it. Sometimes I get jealous of Sister Gertrude and Sister Marguerite. At least they got to see something of the outside world before they were 20. Don't forget Matilda and Woslav, they used to be part of Kirsau too. Oh yeah, them too. Thanks for listening, Magdalene. Anyway, let me show you the rest of the cloister. Lead on. Hello, Marguerite. It's Magdalene. Oh, Magdalene, God bless you. You don't normally come to the convent alone. What brings you here? Not that you're not welcome, of course. It's always wonderful to have visitors. I had some spare time and thought I would say hello. Oh, well, hello. It is good to hear your voice, though. I enjoy it when outsiders visit the convent. Miss the outside world much, sister? Yes, sometimes I miss the other Benedictine sisters especially. She never admit it. Sister Spa had the most wonderful voice. I always stood next to her if I could. Why stay then? Why didn't you leave when the Benedictines left Curacao? Truth be told, I was too frightened to leave. Curacao is my home. I didn't like the idea of becoming accustomed to a new place. Learning the convent's ins and outs was hard enough. Never went outside the convent much anyway. Know where everything is here, even if it's changed over the years. Sister Gertrude had already planned to stay too. The garden always needs tending. Two hands make light work. Besides, I can't leave Mousefinger behind. Of course, she truly is Queen of Curacao. Has the convent changed very much since the poor Clares arrived? Yes, the food is simpler. Some of the prayers are different, but all the chores and gardening is the same. Gertrude misses making ink for the scriptorium, but I've enjoyed learning the sister customs. Speaking of which, I should probably return to my chores. Of course, sister. Apologies for interrupting. Not at all, Magdalene. God bless you. This is the kitchen. There's not anything that interesting here. Sister Marie and Sister Usabao. Oh, they care most of the kitchen duties, but everyone pitches in when Isabu. Oh. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, sister. How goes the cooking? As well as the Lord wills it. My old fingers fumble from time to time, but it is my privilege to prepare supper for the other sisters. That's very noble of you. Just as God gave Paul a thorn in his side, so too did he give me the pains of age to strengthen my faith. Such things are a blessing when compared to the pains Christ carried upon the cross. I don't believe the Lord wants us to suffer, sister. But didn't Christ die so that we don't have to suffer unnecessarily? In the next life, yes. But even Christ said we would face hardships while we live on this earth. I have chosen to find meaning and devotion to the Lord through my hardship. Thank you for sharing your perspective with me, sister. You are most welcome, child. God bless you. God bless you, child. Are you delivering something? Oh, I'm considering joining the convent, so Mother Francisca graciously allowed me to visit with you. Alleluia. Glory and praise be to God. You brought such joy to me this day, child. I haven't actually joined yet, sister. You have a strong stomach? Perhaps you can help Sister Yisabo and me in the kitchen. I enjoy preparing meals for the sisters that nourish us, but I can never bring myself to butcher the animals. Sister Yisabo has graciously taken on that task for me. I need sustenance, but I feel butchering any animal is wrong according to the rule of St. Francis. Cause suffering to any living creature is unnecessary and evil, even if God granted Adam and Eve dominion over the animals. The kitchen seems fairly simple. Is there anything here from the convent's founding days? No more than the structure itself, I'm afraid. Cookware needs replacing over the years. Though some nights a ghost appears to me by the cook fire, a lost spirit trapped between heaven and hell. Mr. Marie, not this again. Not to Magdalene, please. Could it have been a ghost of one of the sisters from the founding of the convent, maybe even St. Tassia? If it was, she has never said a word to me, so I fell prostrate in prayer before her. The spirit, whoever it is, rose up through the ground of vigils. Dawn and dusk are the hours when the boundaries between this world and the spiritual world are weakest. Maybe the newest arrivals here, but this convent is very old. Perhaps there was something Roman underneath this foundation centuries before. Spirit may seek to know the presence of God now that it rests on holy ground. Spirit in Curacao? Why would it come to the convent, though? Breaks my heart to think this spirit was crying out for help, trapped beyond heaven's reach. Why don't we keep going, Magdalene? Better not to get Sister Marie too upset. Of course. God bless you, sister. God bless you, child. Ah, beautiful little mouse. It's colder today. Not much in the yard that could help you, I think. Anything that was here has long been covered in weeds. All I know about this place is that the walls were added when the convent was built onto the monastery. Oh, God bless you, Sister Benedicta. You saying, God bless you. This ice is hard. Do I recognize you, Sister Benedicta? I think I've seen you in town once or twice. Yes, you'd have seen her. Sister Benedicta is the youngest of the sisters. Mother Francisca allows only one sister to deal with the townsfolk. Benedicta received this privilege. Burden, more like. I have to run around everywhere, gathering all the food and doing all the chores. I'd rather be inside, where it's warm. Warm. What are you doing up in the convent, anyway? Mother Francisca said I could look around. Oh, well, don't let me get in the way, then. Actually, Sister Benedicta, I wanted to ask you some questions. Do you like being a nun? Oh, yes, I don't mind it at all. Far quieter than home, and I don't have to share my bed with my siblings anymore. I like to help the older sisters, and I don't mind the chores, except when it's cold, like this. One more question, Sister Benedicta. Have you seen any mysterious figures or ghosts lately? Ghosts? No, everything has been normal recently. I haven't noticed anything odd. This about Sister Marie's ghost. Mauritius myself. Oh, no. So there is a ghost in the Abbey. Well, I haven't seen anything myself, but if there is a ghost, I like to think it's Mauritius. Don't tell Mother Francisca this, but I found an old book about Christian legends hidden in the workshop. It said that a Roman commander named Mauritius conquered Tassing, but the colony failed. Most of the town was empty until Christian refugees found the town hidden in the valley. It was a miracle. Christian refugees? Yes, the book said they were fleeing Roman persecution. Maybe under Nero? I don't remember. Anyway, when Sister Marie said she saw a ghost, I thought it must be Mauritius trying to get us out. A Roman ghost couldn't be happy about his tower being turned into an abbey, could he? What did you do with this book, sister? Oh, well, I had it with me in the kitchen one day, and I accidentally laid the fire poker on it. Stare in shock and horror. Sister Benedicta. Tried to fix it, but it's unreadable now. Sorry, Magdalene. That's alright. That book would probably have gone unread otherwise. I'm glad you were enjoying it. Besides, that story gives me ideas for the Rat House mural. Thanks for telling me about the book, sister. I won't tell Mother Francisca. God bless you, sister. Thanks, Magdalene. God bless you. Yeah. The workshop is covered in dust. Yes, this was the Benedictine sisters' workshop. They used to make badges, art for pilgrims coming to see the hand of St. Moritz. It looks like everything was just left here after the fire. Nothing's been used in years. Can't subsist on painting, and the poor Clares don't produce goods for sale. We have no reason to be in here. But art allows us to find beauty in life. Even Christ said the Father clothed the lilies of the field in beauty. I agree, but that's not the rule of the poor Clares. Mother Francisca considers art a temptation to them. Mother Francisca doesn't let us come in here. Let's put something in storage. I've come in a few times and noticed some of the brushes have gone missing. Paint pots, too. I wouldn't be surprised if the twins managed to sneak their way in. Mother Francisca would be livid if she knew folk from Tassing were sneaking around the convent. I don't think they'd be able to get into the workshop without one of us seeing them, though. Good point, the twins aren't artistically minded anyway. In any case, I think it's sad the workshop is left like this. Truthfully, Magdalene, I don't think you should join the convent, even if that's not what you were here to do anyway. Gertrude talks about you, and you seem to love your art. Without it, you'd hate it here. Such valuable paint, left to dry and crack on the palettes. There's an old parchment scrap here. It's different from the others. Looks like a scrap from a manuscript. There's something written in Latin in the margin. The Mithraeum of Tassing had been destroyed by a flood. Mithraeum, that's the same word I saw in that Roman section of the mine. Wait, this might be from the book Sister Benedicta found. I wonder why it would mention the Mithraeum. I don't know. It's not a word I've ever heard before. Certainly nothing in the convent by that name. Well, the note says the Mithraeum was destroyed, so I suppose it doesn't matter much now. Gold badges are beautiful. I hope the pilgrims who bought them love them too. Well, you've seen the entire convent. There's not much here. What do you think of it? I can see why people choose the holy life, but it's not for me, not without art. I understand. You dedicated your whole life to your work. You struggled to give that up now. It's been so long since I've spoken to anyone from outside the convent, I'm reminded of the life I once had. Now you have me thinking about whether or not I should remain with the sisters. I think you should go. Oh. Family just left you here. You don't owe the sisters anything. I do, though. The sisters have taken care of me. They love me, and I love them. Even if this life wasn't my choice, they accepted me. Who knows, maybe it will get better in time. Maybe. I'll try to help any way I can, even if it's just sneaking around the convent wall to say hello. Really? That would be wonderful, so long as no one found out. Anyway, we should return to Mother Francisca before she suspects something. I learned a lot today. Thank you for showing me around the convent. No, thank you, Magdalene. Today has been more interesting than any can remember in the Abbey. Come, let's find Mother Francisca. She'll be wanting to hear what you thought of the place. Well, Magdalene, what is your assessment of the poor Clares? Good Lord calling you to a life with us as a sister? I think I prefer my books and printing. In any case, I need to finish the mural. Then I might take over for my father. I see. Be careful that this mural does not become an idol for you, Magdalene. Just as Eve had a weaker will than Adam, you are liable to stumble on the fruit of temptation as well. Our community is quite modest compared to the splendor of an old Benedictine house operating under the rule of a powerful abbot. See why fewer women are drawn to the order these days. Thank you for allowing me inside. Most welcome, Magdalene. God bless you. Magdalene, how did your little expedition go? Frustrated that there's so little left of the old abbey and saints. Sister, there's something I don't understand. The abbey was so prosperous. Why didn't the monks rebuild it after the fire? What a task that would be. The chapel was beautiful. Stained glass always caught my eye in the mornings. There was a great deal of anger and sadness in Tassing that night. The abbot felt the brothers and sisters were no longer welcome in Tassing and moved on. In truth, the abbey's dissolution was inevitable. Pearsall was running out of money and patron. Riot and fire were simply a particularly awful and painful way to end the monastery. Did anything survive the fire? Some of the buildings are intact, but all are terribly overgrown. I haven't dared forage in the rubble. I doubt you'd find anything of help for your mural inside. other than charred wood and parchment. It might still be worth taking a look if I'm careful. I worry after you sometimes, Magdalene. Really do. Thank you for all your help, Sister Gertrude. You are most welcome, Magdalene. God bless you. That was, I don't know. I did learn more about the founding of Curacao. That illustration from the manuscript, the Mithraeum, it was like the one in the mine. Is it part of the history of the Abbey of Tassing? It must be found somewhere. Only the library hadn't burned down with everything in it. The ruins are right there. Maybe not everything was. My God, this is amazing. I wonder what it must have looked like before the fire. Everything collapsed in the fire. I'll have to be careful climbing over this rubble to get past. Oh shit. Oh no, I can't get back up there. It might collapse further. I'll have to find another way out. Climb the vines, girl. Nothing left of the old staircase. I guess I can't go this way. These vines go all the way to the top, though. They look sturdy enough to hold my weight. Oh, there's no other way out. See all of Tassing from here. Wonder if I could piece together the foundations of the Abbey and find a way to get to the library. Bet I could get down this way. The roof looks pretty stable. I am a bit annoyed that they don't go all in on the grand mystery right now. I remember when the library burned down. Dad told me I was just a baby, but I remember the flames coming out of the windows, screaming and running around. I cried myself to sleep that night. I haven't seen this place since then. Doesn't look like there's anything left inside. Suppose it was too much to hope for. Oh, Magdalene, how are you going to get out of here? These roses seem to have made the Abbey their home. I'm glad something beautiful is still growing here. This music is great. Place is a mess. Sad. Stuck. I can't get through this way. Oh, an old mural. More, but I can still see some of the figures. Dance of Death? Someone's come and put graffiti on it. What? These figures look new. Paint can't be more than a few years old. Someone's been adding to this. Feels wrong. Who would add new figures to the Dance of Death? Why? Look like people from the town from here. People who died. That must be the Baron. That's Otto. Wait. Okay, that's the Baron on the left there. Someone's here. Hello? Who are you? The door. Whoever was watching me must have opened it. I don't like this. I think I've seen everything left of the Abbey. I want to get out of here. Did it start snowing? Get back to the rat house and get to work. Magdalene. Dr. Stoles. So you're doing quick work with the mural, eh? I hope that doesn't make you sloppy. I'm faring better than my father. Are your remedies even doing anything? More than a girl like you can understand, Magdalene. Healing the human body isn't like mixing paints. In any case, the council wants to hear what you're doing. I've been researching the early Christian history of Tassing after the Romans left, learning how people settled in the ruins, how the abbey was founded, why our saints are so important to us. It was a lot to take in, but I've settled on my subject. And I'll paint St. Moritz, St. Satya, and Our Lady of the Labyrinth receiving the Christian settlers. They are the saints closest to Tassing and Kirsau and have been part of our history for generations. Saints are an essential part of Tassing's identity and income. Honoring them makes the town look better than it actually is. I suppose that is worth something. You must always keep in mind that the mural is not just for you, but for all of Tassing. So let me do my job, Doctor. After this section, there's still so much work to do. I haven't even figured out how I'm going to portray the revolt. Ah, yes. I imagine it poses difficulties that the other murals do not. Strange thing to tell a story that still lives in the hearts of so many people here. I don't think anyone wants to talk about it. They've all just locked it away. Sounds like you have your work cut out for you. I'll leave you to it then. Oh, Dr. Stoltz. Yes? Have you ever seen someone lurking around the Abbey? Or heard about it? I haven't been up to the Abbey in years. No, I haven't heard of anything like that. Why? I've seen someone following me a few times. No, I don't know anything about it. Now, if there's nothing else... Asshole. Now I only have the final part of the mural to finish. How should I paint the revolt? Dad always talked about how the Archdeacon was the only one seeking justice in those days. But what was his name? The only name I can remember is the name of the Archdeacon who came to Tassing when that Baron was killed. Jacob Estler. Maybe he wrote an account of the revolt as an Archdeacon. I'll write to him and ask. And of course I need to write back to Esther too. I'll write to them tonight before bed. Alright, where to begin? I'll write to the Archdeacon. Yep. Jacob Estler, and see if he could tell me about the revolt. Write a letter to Esther, too. I hope the courier can make it through the passes before winter. Jacob Estler, former Archdeacon of Freising. My name is Magdalene Druckerin. I am an artist in the town of Tassing in Upper Bavaria. I believe you passed through our community when you investigated Baron Rothvogel's murder at Kersau Abbey, 1518. You remember anything about that case that the people in Tassing might not remember? Did you see any evidence that might suggest there was some sort of larger conspiracy at work? Thank you for any help you can give. Magdalene Druckerin. Dearest Esther, I hope you are well. You must know how tremendously happy I am for you and Simond. And Alicia too, of course. And your parents. It warms my heart to know that your family is doing so well. By the time this letter reaches you, I expect winter will have enfolded Tassing. It's already freezing at night, so I've reorganized the workshop so that the inks don't deteriorate. You have to worry about that in Prague? You said it snows, but I always imagined it was warmer in winter. Dad's condition is so much worse, and he's in so much pain. Dr. Stoltz has been... well, he's a useless asshole. Only God knows why he's such a bitter old man, but he's neglected Dad almost entirely. Some days he doesn't show up, and even if he does, he just snaps instructions at me and rushes off. Do it? And he's, like, trying to hasten his death by not giving a shit? Wish I understood why. I worry about Dad. I've asked Agnes for help, but there's only so much we can do alone. Not going to make it, and there's nothing I can do. Christ, I'm scared, Esther. The mural is progressing well, but I can't shake the feeling that someone is following me. I keep seeing this figure around town. After I explored the mines to see Tassing's early history, and then again in the Abbey ruins. Is the person who attacked my dad, why are they following me? It's the strangest thing, given me a fright a few times already. But I don't mean to worry you. Nothing's happened to me yet, so I think I'll be safe. The only good news I could share at the moment is that the mural is almost finished. Should have it completed by Christmas, soon after, before the new year, at least. Then perhaps, at long last, I shall be able to visit you and meet this Simon. Anyway, I fear that this will be my last letter of the year. The Reichspost has already been late and reported worsening snows through the passes. We seem to be stepping into a harsh winter. Stay warm and give my regards to your family and Simond. Yours always, Magda. How did this get here? Stop. Yeah, it's gotta be for the mural. This is just like the note Dad found. Who's doing this? I have a feeling I'm going to find out sooner or later. Need to ask Dad about this. It can't be a coincidence. Been so weak, I don't want to upset him. Need to wait for the right time. Hope there is a right time. Late, I should get some rest soon. Alright. Mr. Struckeren, only one letter for you today. The pass is nigh impossible to traverse, and the heavy snow is hard on the horse and me. Anyway, happy Advent, my dear. Thank you. The same to you. Ah, a reply from Jacob Estler. Mistress Struckeren. You recall the Rothvogel case, though it has been over a decade since I have served as an archdeacon. I am no longer associated with the office of the Prince Bishop. In fact, I am no longer associated with the Catholic Church. If you do not mind conversing with a Lutheran, I will tell you what I remember. I investigated several murders as archdeacon, but none had the curious specter of conspiracy that haunted Baron Rothvogel's. After the peasants burned Kiersau, I read a report suggesting that a conspiracy behind the murder of the town carpenter as well. It was around this time that I did some research of my own into the death of Father Gernot's predecessor, Father Matthias. While no one suspected foul play at the time, I had reason to believe that his death may be connected to the two other murders. Did the abbot doing it, or like the one, not the one literally killing them, but pulling the strings? If this is the case, a serpent has lain coiled in the bosom of your community for decades. It may lay there still. What causes this serpent to awaken every few years to stage a new killing? Fear that finding the answer to that question may draw you into its reach. However, if you are determined to find the source of the trouble, I believe you must inquire with your neighbors. I urge caution in your investigation into this matter. The serpent merely sleeps. It may be dangerous to poke into its old resting places. I hope this has been of some help to you. May God bless and keep you safe. Jacob Estler. No reply from Esther this time. Must have been delayed due to the heavy snow. Postman said I won't receive any more letters until spring. Better get back to the rat house then. Still more work to be done. It's gonna be Christmas. Or Christmas Eve. Good morning, Dad. Finally caught up on the mural, and now I can start the final part today. Promise I'll get it done. Magdalene. Thanks, Dad. Sorry, Dr. Stoltz said you can't come to the festivities tonight. I know how much you love the Perchtenlauf. Romantic folk ritual celebrated around Christmas time in which townsfolk dress as Perchten drive evil spirits from the town to protect it in the coming new year. There's always next year. Right. How are you feeling? Dr. Stoltz said he would come by again today. Fine. Fine. Maybe I should stay home with you today. No, Magdalene, if you want to work, you should work. All right. In fact, my spirits are lifted today. Christmas Eve, after all. Of course. Wrong. Dad, I found a note back in November. Note? It was like a note I found in your plans for the murals. A scrap of parchment. It looked like it came out of an old manuscript. Elaborate writing, purple ink. It just said, stop. You know where they came from? Wrote them? Magdalene, Oh god, that must be Oates. He said he'd drop by with more firewood. If you know something, I'd like you to tell me, alright? No, I will. Can we talk about it later? Dad, I'll tell you, I promise. He's gonna be dead before we find out, isn't he? Alright. I'll be back later. Take care of yourself out there. Alright, that's where I'm gonna leave it for tonight. I've been going for over 3 hours, and I need to go to bed. So, I'm planning on, I'm gonna call an audible. Instead of playing some Xenoblade X tomorrow night, I'm gonna be playing more Pentiment with the aim of finishing it this week. And then when I get back, once I finish this up, then I will focus on Xenoblade X until that's done, because there's only a few more streams left of that. But after that, I'll be starting on some new games, and yeah, I'm excited about them. So, I will see you all tomorrow night for more Pentiment. Maybe the finale, maybe not. I don't know. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.